Good morning, everybody. Doug Lane here, Fast Lane Car Care. Hey, today, Tool Talk Tuesday, we're going to talk about shop heat, climate control. We're going to touch on air conditioning in a little bit, talk about why it's important, and I'll show you a couple different options that I have and that I've used over the different years, and what I'll be using this year, if that makes sense. So, without flapping our jaws too much, I basically did this whole video yesterday, but I rambled a lot, didn't cover what I wanted to cover. You guys know me. But anyway, here's what we got. So, strap you on my head here. Right here, we've got probably everybody's best friend. It's a diesel torpedo heater. Some people call them salamander heaters. Forced air heaters, I believe is a technical term. This one here, she runs off diesel, kerosene. So I think here on the side or somewhere it'll tell you what the consumption is and all that good stuff. I guess you can run fuel oil. I'm not sure if that's any cheaper, but yeah, number 1 kerosene, number 1 diesel. You can also run number 2 diesel, which is off-road. There's no road tax. Saves you like 30-40 cents a gallon depending on where you live. This is my favorite option. 75,000 BTU, but here's my favorite part. It's thermostatically controlled, so you can just set this to whatever you want. It's only going to kick on when it comes, when it gets colder than that. It's going to shut off when it gets up to that temperature. The reason I like this, it's kind of set it and forget it, and it puts out a ton of heat. You can heat up this garage pretty quickly. Even if you don't use any heat at all overnight, and it's in the 50-degree range. This garage usually doesn't get any cooler than that, unless it's negatives outside. It'll stay 45 or higher. When it gets down into negatives, I think it's been freezing in here one time that I can remember in the last 5 years. Because before that I really didn't care, because I didn't have any of my business stuff, tent stuff, detailing stuff. I wasn't into that stuff, so it didn't matter if this froze. The problem with this is it's pretty fumy. It smells. You don't want to use it in a completely airtight environment. That's why I've mentioned it in other videos, but this door is not perfectly sealed. If you shut off the lights, you can see daylight around it. Yeah, this is insulated. It does a very good job, but especially during the winter, you can feel cool air kind of drafting in, and I never really cared because I ran this. You don't want to be completely airtight, or you're really going to risk carbon monoxide poisoning and stuff like that. If you're going to use one of these, you really should have a carbon monoxide alarm in or around your area, and really you're supposed to use them in a pretty well ventilated space, crack a window, something like that. The other problem with this is it does smell, and I've experimented with using off-road diesel, regular diesel. I ran kerosene through it one time, but it was like $5 a gallon, so that's not very cost effective, which of course now diesel is roughly the same price, so I'm probably not going to use this very much this year, to be completely honest. Downside is it is kind of heavy, especially when it's loaded with fuel. I think it holds somewhere around 7 gallons. It may say I could have swore it said what the capacity was on it, but maybe not. Anyway, and then this fuel cap or fuel gauge cap is broken, so I really can't move this around anywhere once it has fuel in it, because fuel will slosh out. And if any of you guys have ever used diesel, if you get diesel on anything, it just stinks forever after that. Not really forever, but it sucks. Overall, if I didn't have either of my other two options, this is my go-to. I love this thing. I've had it for years. I actually traded my dad for it. My dad had it for years. I had the igniter go bad on it one time, and it was like $50. These are usually several $100s brand new, so depending on what size and all that stuff. But it's been nothing but good to me. We'll go over here and talk about our second option. We got our Mr. Heater. It's a propane forced air heater. I really don't like this at all. I bought this honestly for mobile jobs. As you can see, we've got some jerry rigging here. We'll talk about that here in a second. So this is the Mr. Heater Contractor Series. I got this at Home Depot. It says it's a 60,000 or 30,000 BTU an hour heater. Lists your tank pressure, PSI, all that stuff. And the way you turn this on, you have to obviously plug it in first with your bottle closed. Turn it on, the fan starts. We'll demonstrate that, but once I turn this on, you're not going to be able to hear anything. So, and you know, it's kind of like lighting a stove or a grill. You put it on a certain point, ignite it, and then you can dial it in wherever you want. The reason I don't like this is it runs constantly. It doesn't matter. If you put it on medium or low or whatever, it's just going to keep running and running and running and running until you turn it off. Well, what happens if you're working, you know, doing a car like this or whatever, and it's going to take you a few hours, you're going to start to get cold, and you're going to have to turn it back on, or you're just going to leave it run constantly. You're burning extra fuel. It's going to get hot in there. You're going to get uncomfortable. But the reason I say don't buy these, this particular brand, is this right here. So after the first 2 tanks of propane, so I ran 2 tanks of propane through it, and these little barbecue grill tanks will last you a couple days, depending on how often, you know, how much you're using it and what setting and all that stuff. A couple work days is about what I was getting out of it. But then this valve broke, so it has to be zip tied and held into the ignite position, or else it won't ignite. It won't stay lit, and that also means I can no longer use any of these other functions. I can't. It's like basically stuck on pilot. No big deal, right? Probably just got a bad one. Well, when I was at my old shop, the next door neighbor had one of these, and his did the exact same thing. After 1 tank of propane, it started not working. So he came over because I talked to customer service, and they were not helpful at all. The company that owns DeWalt actually owns this company. So when you call customer support, whatever number is on here or whatever is on the website, it's like, thank you for calling DeWalt, blah, 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 whatever. So it's kind of, yeah, there's an 800 number right here. So anyway, 2 people that have the exact same problem with the same thing, like, to me, that just says that it's not a very good product. And so I wouldn't buy one. I think I paid like $100 for it. So I'm not like super heartbroken because I can make it work, but it's not going to work to its efficiency or like its full potential. The nice thing about it is, like, especially for you guys that are mobile, obviously you can disconnect this with a 7/8 wrench, or you can just leave it connected depending on what your vehicle setup is. You can just throw this in the back of a car or truck or whatever, and you've got heat wherever you need to go as long as you have an electric cord. And that's really that's really just for the igniter and the fan to move air. So let's go ahead. I'll turn this on and show you the ignition process here. And that's what I don't like about it. That fan runs constantly no matter what. As soon as you plug this in, it's making noise. Open our bottle. Shutdown procedure is pretty much the same thing. Notice I can't use this because when you have your igniter, when you have this valve pushed in, it can't turn past this point. But if I undo these zip ties and let it go, then it won't stay lit. So something in the valve, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things for $100 that's really not worth getting a $20 valve for. I've just rigged it up here with some zip ties. It'll work. Am I recommending you do this? No. That's why I recommended you not buy one. Bad thing about this for window tinting is both these forced air deals, they are moving a lot of air, which gives them potential to move a lot of dust. And looking at this floor, I really need to sweep it. But also, let's, say you're sticking your window tint on these windows, like let's say you're mobile, hand cutting, and you're getting your windows, you're getting your patterns laid out. These can blow them off. So you got to be careful and mindful of where your heater's pointing, how much airflow is actually moving, and make sure your tint's stuck on there pretty good. Otherwise, you can, go over and do this and then come back and your tint's on the floor. So, you know, for the money, it's not a bad deal. One thing I really like about it is it takes a barbecue propane tank. You know, you can get these pretty much any gas station around here. I can literally go 300 feet down the road to my little corner store, and I mean, I just bought that today because I didn't feel like unhooking my other one. Now, they make different sizes, they make different brands, all that kind of thing. I really like the idea of it. I think the idea is solid. I love being able to just, if I needed to go do a mobile job or whatever. See, a lot of people will say that their garage is heated, but most of the time, they're talking about like, they've got a little, like a tower heater, like a little office space heater or something, like a room heater. And for most people's garages, that's not going to work. So you'll be lucky, you know, depending on what the temperature is outside, you're lucky to increase the temperature 10, 15 degrees. So it can be pretty cold and miserable. The thing is, a lot of people don't understand is, when you're spraying water all over your hands, you know, you're installing this tent, your fingers are going to get cold. When they start to get cold, not rocket surgery, guys, you start to lose dexterity. You start to, you know, lose the feeling, not necessarily like numbness wise, but it's just harder to manipulate things the way you want to. It gets uncomfortable, and now you're not focused on the job. You're focused on, oh my gosh, my hands are so cold or whatever. That's why, I mean, being comfortable is huge for quality, in my opinion. Let's see. But yeah, I do love it. I don't like this particular model, but I do love the idea, and I'll be using that quite a bit this year. Simply because I don't need to utilize the full 60,000 BTU, and propane's going to be a lot cheaper to burn than diesel this year. But that being said, I'm still going to fill this bad boy up just in case, because I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it's diesel / kerosene or what. This thing is hot. It gets warm fast. If you come out here and it's cold, you just flip that bad boy on, set it to 70, 75 if you're really feeling froggy. Go eat breakfast or something. You can sit in the house and listen to it. It'll turn off and you're good to go. Let's talk about our newest addition though. It's this bad boy here. It's the Honeywell. I'll put the model number on the screen and in the description. Well, I'll try to do it on the screen. I should know how to do that with the editing stuff, but it is an air conditioner. It's got the modes here. You've got fan, heat, AC, and dehumidifier. It's a window. It's a portable deal. It's supposed to vent out of a window. I've got it vented out into my other garage, which is unfinished. So there's no ceiling in it, no walls. I mean, the walls are up, but they're not insulated, no drywall, anything like that. Pretty much just used for storage over there. So it just vents into there because I don't have room to run it out this window. The hose is too short, and even if I bought the longer hose, I would still have to put it around in here somewhere, and that doesn't work for me because I need this space for when I do bigger, like 2,500, 3,500 trucks. I need this area. I need to be able to pull up as close as I can. I need to clean all this stuff up, and I need to get a cabinet for that. That's a whole nother video, different day. But that's why I run it over here. I vented it out the back. Now, cool thing is, let's say you have no desire to run the air conditioner. They come with a plug, so you can plug off that hole in the back, and this is the part that mounts to your window. It's got the little plate that comes with it, all that. But you put that little cover over here, and now you can roll this around for the heat, fan, and dehumidifier function. You can roll it wherever your cord will allow you. I do believe that they do not recommend using an extension cord, but our cord actually runs behind our toolbox and up, so you know, if we really wanted to, we could move this a good 5-10 feet, something like that. We'll fire it up so you guys can see how loud it is. It's really not that loud. I don't know what the camera's gonna do, but you can easily run this and have a conversation. So one weird thing about this one, when you very first start it up, for heat, you're not gonna feel anything come out of here for a minute. It like does something in there, I don't really know, and then it will run, you know, it'll blow heat out here. So right now it's kind of blowing cool air, but it'll get hot pretty quick. It blows like, I don't know, like 110 degree air or something like that. depending on how you measure it, where you measure it, and all that. But pretty warm. Cool thing about it, it comes with a remote. You can, you know, change stuff on the fly. So there. Now it's starting to do its little heat thing. Nothing's coming out of this. And here in a minute, it'll start blowing out. I really like it. You can adjust the flow. Like, you can adjust where it goes. I like to keep it around something like that so it kind of goes out. But it's on wheels, so I can roll it. I mean, it rolls great. It's filtered. It's got 2 different filters back here you probably can't see. Since it's basically cold weather season here now, I doubt it's going to get hot enough to need this. I'll go ahead and take that off and plug it this week. And then I'll put like a dryer vent cover or something over there. Something to make it look nice so there's not just a gaping hole in the wall. And obviously block it off so it's not leaking cold air in here. Really like that. So I think the goal for this year is redo this trim that's on the outside so that that's like sealed up. And then I'll just run this like constantly. You know, is this going to be the right move for everybody? Probably not. I use this pretty much every day, this garage that is, so I don't really want my stuff to freeze, like my keg, and I don't really want to have to worry about like what the outside weather's doing. You know, because like I said earlier, as long as it's above X temperature, it's not going to freeze in here. It just doesn't do that. But I don't want to have to worry about it getting below a certain temperature, so I'll probably leave that at like, I don't know, 50, 55, something like that on the overnights, and then just turn it up during the day when I'm using it. And that's where the propane heater comes in, because in the mornings when I want to take the chill out or whatever, you know, before I get started, I can go ahead and fire this up, make it real warm in here, and then turn off the propane heater or the diesel heater, whichever one I use, and then just let the electric heater do its thing. Some of you guys are probably thinking, Matt, you know, electric heat, super expensive, diesel, super expensive. You know, it depends. If you're just doing this on the side or whatever, you're probably not going to be in a position where you really need to worry about heat, because this is a pretty seasonal industry. So, you know, like my first couple years, especially detailing, I did hardly any cars during the winter. So, you know, really didn't have to use a diesel heater that much. So I actually left it on 50, just to keep all my stuff from freezing. A lot of the detailing stuff, like waxes and, waxes and all that, if it freezes, it's trash. They'd never work again. So, you know, when you've got a couple $1,000 in material, you know, waxes and polishes and all that stuff, you don't want it to go bad just because it got cold. So that's really, you know, a big thing about being back here at my home garage. I'm sure some people probably think it looks unprofessional or whatever, and you know, I get it. It's not set up like a shop. It's not set up exactly like I would want it to be. But here's the thing. It cost me with the AC running, and for this summer I had a window unit that was undersized, so it ran constantly, and these high bay lights. We got 4 high bays. Before that, we had 9 shop lights, 4-foot shop lights that we had to change because they were messing up the videos. It's only adding about $100 to the electric bill every month. So, I mean, you look at it, I was paying $1,500 a month for a lease, and then I had to also, because the heat didn't work and that was a whole ordeal, I had to burn about another $200 to $250 a month on propane and diesel to heat the place. So you're looking at $1,700-1,800 just right off the top, not counting the gas it took to get there or any other little odds and ends stuff, you know, buying trash bags, cleaning supplies, soap, stuff like that, for the bathroom waiting area, all that good stuff. This cost me $100 extra a month. So I don't want to sound arrogant or cocky or whatever, but I really don't care how much it costs to heat it or costs to cool it, because no matter what, it's still going to be cheaper than the $1,500 I was paying just to say I had a shop. With that being said, would I like to go back to a commercial building? Yeah, if I could get the right deal and the right price. The problem with a lot of commercial real estate, and I'm sure it's like this in a lot of different areas, the people that have it don't want to let go of it. They want to rent it out. You know, the guy that I was leasing half the building off of for $1,500, his mortgage, I mean, he didn't tell me this, but based on the numbers and figures, because he did tell me what, well, it's public record. When somebody buys land, at least in this area, it's public record. You can look up and see exactly how much they paid for it, all that. You can run the numbers. He was paying about $1,100 for the whole place. So if you guys go back and watch some of my older videos, you may be able to tell that my half of the building was the smaller half. His side of the building was, you know, bigger by about 1.5 times. So for the whole building, he's paying $1,100, but he's getting $1,500 off of me. So he's, you know, you're making money. So why would you want to sell that income generating building? So I've got some plans. I don't know exactly which way I want to go, how I want to do it. I'm thinking about expanding this garage so that basically that door won't be there anymore, and we'll go out about 30 feet further. And then we'll also take that wall out, finish the other side, and make it real nice in here. It's just really, it's one of those things I'm just not sure what I want to do, because I've got a lot of things that I want to do. And one of those involves just totally changing location. So, you know, I don't know. I think it'd probably be the most cost-effective method. I would like more space for bigger vehicles, taller vehicles. I had to turn down, I think, two or three trucks that won't fit in here, which it's cheaper to do that than it is to have a commercial space. The amount of oversized vehicles, you know, the amount of vehicles that won't fit in here that I do in a year doesn't equate to one commercial lease payment. So, but it's still bittersweet, because those customers are going to get service somewhere else. And, you know, as long as that person does a good job, they're probably going to stick with them for a long time. So it kind of shoots you in the foot in the long run. Sounds like the trash guys just came. They're a day late, so that's cool. But, you know, as far as heat and stuff goes, climate control is huge, guys. It's going to help you get more consistent quality installs when you're comfortable, when you can control the environment. Like during the summer, if you've got that door open and the neighbor's mowing grass, you know, you're getting little grass particles in here and stuff, especially if it's windy like this time of year. Like yesterday, it was freaking, that's why I got leaves all over the floor just from opening the door long enough to move cars around. Freaking leaves and everything blowing in. So the more you can keep your door shut, the more you can control the airflow and the quality of air in the building. You know, if you're like that heater that I have running now is filtered, it's filtering the air. Is it a HEPA filter? Is it like super fine? No, it's not, but it helps. It helps get, you know, anything you can do helps. So personally, if you're thinking about being serious about this, you're really gonna, you know, make a go of having your own business or whatever, definitely something to invest in. Like I've said before on these Tool Talk Tuesdays, I'm not wanting to talk about squeegees. You know, we all know about the red line extractor. You know, we all know about the Go Doctor. We all know about the Tri-Edge, right? We get it. We know. I want to talk about stuff that the average person doesn't think about that can help you be more successful. And whether that's just making you more comfortable so that you can do more cars per day, or enjoy doing those cars more. You know, because it sucks when it's 90 degrees. You know, especially here in Ohio, man, the humidity is really high most of the time. So 80 degrees, 90 degrees with 90% humidity freaking sucks. So, you know, you're out here sweating, just literally just dripping sweat. It's frustrating. I mean, you can be a tough guy or girl all you want, but if you're uncomfortable, you're not going to be as productive, period. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter who you are, what industry you're in. That's just how it is. So if we can keep you more comfortable and I can show you little tips and tricks to make you faster and more efficient. You know, ways that you know, maybe other people aren't thinking about. That's the whole goal in this. So that's why we're talking about freaking heating and cooling today, right? Whoever would have thought that that's an important part of your business or whatever. But you know, I do see it in the posts on Facebook and stuff like that, talking about how do I keep dust down, or what do I do, my tent's trying to stick too fast, or blah blah blah. That's why. If you can keep your workspace a consistent temperature, then you can start saying, okay, well, is it my slip solution? Is it my ratio? Is it my actual slip? Does it just not like this film? You can start narrowing down and getting to the bottom of some of these causes, to where, you know, if it's 85 degrees one day and 70 degrees the next day, or you know, you're going to be all over the place. So it makes a big difference. I think that's about all I got. We're not going to talk about those little baby under desk heaters or whatever. Those things are trash. They're not going to work in a space this big, and this isn't a big space. It's like 545 square feet, so not huge, but yeah. So I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna get this car tinted. I gotta peel some stickers off, get the back window prepped, get to work. We're running 6 minutes behind schedule, but that's okay. So yeah, let's see. We just sitting here talking, and we've been talking for 25 minutes, and we raised the temperature about 3 degrees in here. So we're about 60. What I just looked at that, 68.5. So we're 68.5 right now, just from what we accomplished playing around with that heater, playing around with this heater. The diesel heater, guys, I could plug it in, turn it on, but it's got old diesel from last year. I don't like running old diesel through these. You want to go ahead and fill this up with good fresh diesel, and I will probably actually put a little bit of additive in it as well. If you run old diesel in these diesel heaters, they smell terrible. That fume just lingers, and it sucks. Runs fresh fuel through it. I always, at the end of the year, I'll just sit it outside and let it run. I mean, if it's like too warm to, you know, actually use it, I'll just aim it out the door and let it run until it's empty. This year it didn't get ran quite empty. There's still a little bit, maybe a half a gallon of fuel in it, but nothing the gas station can't fix for me. But that's all I got, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.